Hey everybody, I'm Simmons. This is Philosophy for Where We Find Ourselves, May 6th, 2020. Today I was going to do a video on how to find balance, and I'll still do that, probably tomorrow, and talk about my absolutely horrible attempt at yoga over the past few weeks. But in the attempt to record that video, and I had actually done it probably 8, 9, 10 times, I continued to be interrupted by wind gusts, my chimes ringing, all kinds of things. And so instead of talking about balance today, I'll do that tomorrow. I want to talk about how interruptions can actually be productive opportunities for creative movement forward. We usually don't think about interruptions as good things. If I'm teaching a class and someone's cell phone goes off, not usually productive. But nonetheless, these are still moments that cause us to recognize our best laid plans are always subject to revision. In fact, this is why I talk at the end of my videos every day about I'll see you tomorrow unless a piano falls on our heads. The idea is we don't have it guaranteed. It's not certain. So when we start allowing interruptions to be interruptive, when we let them contest our certainty and challenge our assumptions, then we might be open to real novelty, to new possibilities of how things could go forward. When it comes to interruption in productive ways, there's no thinker I know of who is more profound on this front than Emmanuel Levinas. Levinas is a 20th century French thinker who helps us recognize that we are always defined and constituted in relation to other people. Now, this is certainly the case right now. As we are isolated and quarantined and shutting our doors, it's because relationships continue that we have to be isolated in the name of those relationships, in the name of caring about all those others, many of whom we will never meet and never know personally. But our relationality constitutes our identity and invites us to live in intentional ways. But Levinas is really cool about this. He says that the thing that is so disruptive about the other is that they are always interruptive of our ability to be self-sufficient. We're not able to go forward just being complacent and appealing to the status quo as if it were obvious. Instead, when the other confronts me, I don't know what she's gonna say. I don't know how that conversation will play out. The idea that every time I live in relation to someone else, I am open and ready to surprise, that is something that actually is dynamically propulsive for meaningful existence in this strange world in which we find ourselves. For example, today I was out for a jog and noticed someone else was jogging. And as we sort of moved away from each other to let each other pass with wider berth, we also waved. I was having to move and displace myself bodily in order to recognize and allow for and actually in some ways give way to the presence of the other person. And yet in doing that, we also acknowledged the significance of that other person precisely at the same time. In these moments of productive interruption, when it looks like the wind might blow us away, that also might be the time where we begin to notice how incredible the clouds are as propelled by that wind. The point is not simply to sort of look on the sunny side of life or to see things as half full rather than half empty. Instead, it's about acknowledging our limitations, acknowledging the fact that we are relational beings, and appreciating the idea that when we are interrupted, it doesn't necessarily mean that something has gone wrong. It might mean that we now are able to do things differently and maybe even better. Interruptions are almost always difficult, because they cause us to have to pause and rethink where we were. We can lose our place, we can get disoriented, and yet they are also opportunities for resetting, for restarting, for moving forward slightly differently. I'll see you tomorrow, unless a piano falls on our heads.